Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Is everyone able to hear me clearly? Hey, Jack. Nice to see you tuning in nice and early. Nick, nice to see you tuning in too. Right. I got your request, DXY, Euro dollar, Euro yen, and pound dollar. Right. Is everyone else able to hear me clearly? Okay, Solomon. Good stuff, good stuff. Right. Just gonna give it one more minute to do a sound check. Everything okay, sound is clear, video is clear, everything's clear. Gonna rock and roll today. Okay. Um, yeah, it's I think last week went really, really well, right? For the past week. We called DXY strength when everyone else was calling for it to continue to drop. So it bounced right, right on the dot where we called it, right? Um, Same thing that happened on dollar yen, same thing we called reversal on pound dollar, euro dollar. It all worked out very nicely. We'll be doing a little bit of a review later on some of the calls along with updating our analysis, right? Just let me check one thing. I need to ensure that I'm streaming at the correct rate. I noticed previously um, that the yeah, it's 1920 to 1080. Oh wait, just give me a second. I'm just going to disconnect from the stream. I'm going to bump it up to 1920 and 1080. All right, 1 second. Hey guys, let me know if you can hear me again. You can hear and see me again. I just changed my output streaming to 1980. 1920, sorry. Or 1080p. So you guys should be able to soon watch in HD instead. All right, cool. I'm back. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Walter, nice to see you tuned in. All right. Yeah, Milu, as usual, good day. Thanks for tuning in nice and early. All right. Yeah, welcome to today's pre-market analysis. All right, our weekly pre-market live analysis with me, Desmond Leong. All right, I'll be taking you through the good stuff, the some key technical setups and fundamental setups. Solomon, it's good to know that yeah, with those two calls, yeah, I'm assuming with USD meaning that you're talking about USD strength, right? That you pass your phase two. Please send over a bottle of whiskey for me, please. I'm taking payments in the form of whiskey now. All right. If you pass any of these tests, make good money, let me know. All of you guys should have made good money last week. Okay. You should have definitely made good money last week. We are right on, I think, 100% of our calls. Okay. Yeah, but anyway, congratulations on order for Solomon for passing his phase two. All right. Yeah, it's not easy to pass this kind of funded trader test, especially the 50K ones. And they're bigger than the 10K ones, but it's a good start, right? I expect to see you passing a lot more, right? Joel, nice to see you tune in. All right. Just give me a second. Let me check something. Okay, I'm back. Now, let's begin today's session. All right. So, remember, guys, disclaimer as usual. Remember, everything in this video is educational in nature. Nothing should be construed as investment or trading advice. So, please do your own due diligence before you guys trade. All right. Yeah, the usual stuff, right? So a lot of the calls that we look at today, there's pivot, support, and resistance levels along with arrows, but these are not meant to be construed as like trading recommendations, right? So my view on the markets, right? So please do your own due diligence before you guys trade, right? Now let's go. All right, let's go. Solomon, it's not a glass of vodka. I'm expecting you to send me a bottle of whiskey. I'm kidding. Right, you'll say nice to see you. Oh, tuning in from Berlin. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Right, it should be about like 10 p.m. there or something, right? Kelvin, right? Good morning, all right? Thanks for tuning in. Or is it morning there? I can't remember. I can never remember the time zones everyone's tuning in from. But if I'm not wrong, very few people from Australia. Oh yeah, heads up guys. Next week onwards, we are transitioning this webinar to the IC Markets global YouTube channel, right? So I'll be showing you how to get to that, all right? At 6 a.m. Oh yeah, Kelvin, that rings a bell. Okay. Only guy tuning in from Sydney. I need to show you guys how to get access to that. This current one that you're watching is the IC markets in Australia according AU, right? We will be moving to the IC markets global. Okay, we'll be over here instead. So I will be sharing the link with you guys right now, right? Mando, nice to see you. Lusako, nice to see you. Oh, we got Cool Dip from Australia, right? Tuning in at 6 a.m. Hats off to you guys for your dedication. Okay. From next week onwards, take note that IC Markets Global, right? Will be the webinar, will be the channel which we'll be streaming from. So please go and follow it. All right, I'll keep an eye out on it. Otherwise, you might think that next week there is no webinar on YouTube, but actually we're streaming on the global channel instead. All right, we've been streaming on Australia. Now we're going to stream on global. Okay. Now back to the webinar. Okay. Agenda for today, as usual, guys, you know the drill, right? We're going to cover the key news events for the week, what happened before and what's going to happen after, right? We're going to take a quick look on the majors, right? If you have requests, of course, send them through right now because you guys know that we always have too many requests to answer all of them, okay? So, okay, let me see why is the streaming slowing down. Okay. All right, we got pound dollar, euro dollar, and fundamental. All right, got it. Okay, you guys are able to hear me, right? I for some reason it looked like the YouTube got disconnected for a while. Okay, okay, good. Eric can hear me. Okay, got another request for pound yen again. All right. Okay, so introducing a host for those of you guys who have not seen me or heard of me before. My name is Desmond Leong. I run the award-winning research firm Everest Fortune Group and also the Forex Army. Right, we're doing a big relaunch of the Forex Army in the next week or 2 weeks. Okay, so do check out that place. A lot of exciting new stuff coming out, including a live, probably a live trading room area where I can guide you guys a lot better. Okay, we're finalists of 2019, 2020, and 2021 for best FX and best equity research. Work with many of the major financial institutions, even treasury departments are helping them forecast where the markets are heading, right? But now we have a special partnership with IC Markets where we're bringing you guys the good stuff, the juicy stuff, the stuff that will take a trading to the next level. Okay, you can follow me on Instagram, Comfy Desmond. Otherwise, yeah, there's not much of me there. Not like most of the other traders. Um, I'm mostly my cat and my kid, right? Yeah, my Instagram is mostly my cat, my kid. So yeah, not many, no flashy Lamborghinis and stuff. All right, okay. Um, and of course, if you want to find me on the website, theforexarmy.com is the place that you want to go. Okay. Now, I covered what happened last week. Okay. A few key things to take note of, right? Because it set the tone for last week, and I always want to try to link back to the fundamentals, right, to help you guys have a better understanding and kind of train your understanding of fundamentals. Personally, I make most of my calls on technicals, right? You've seen it how it worked out very nicely, but it is important to know how the fundamentals affect the market. Okay, I broke it all down to point form. So I mean, usually it's super duper long, but I broke it down to point form to keep it nice and simple, bite size. All right, we won't be spending too much time on this. Right, China's GDP grew 6.3% year on year in Q2. So it's lower than the estimate of 7.1%. So that's like a sluggish reopening for this, economic giant called China, right? So it's not reopen in a manner that many analysts had predicted, and because of that, China is such a big driver of crude oil, right? It's kept commodity prices under pressure, especially for crude oil, right? However, prospect of further stimulus measured by the government towards the end of the last week helped relieve crude prices, with WTI oil closing above $76 per barrel for the first time since April 2023. Okay, then we go really quickly into Australia, right? It released the minutes of its most recent cash rate hike meeting. Further, suggests further rate hikes may be required to bring inflation down to their 2% target. While the latest labor force market showed the employment rate remaining unchanged at 3.5% market, while the Aussie economy added 32.6 thousand jobs, much higher than the estimate of 15.4 thousand for the month of June, right? So how does that affect the Aussie dollar, right? Both these points should have provided a strong catalyst for Aussie dollar bulls, but demand for the US dollar, right, dominated most of the talk this week. Remember last week we forecasted that USD would strengthen, right? So yes, against many of the instruments, even Aussie dollar, right, it dropped 115 pips, and Kiwi dollar too, right? So you would have remembered the bearish calls you made on Kiwi dollar, right? It all actually kind of played itself out in the markets this week. So it's what really interesting, right? Imagine doing technicals in a way that the markets, they just behave exactly as you expect them to, right? And they have the fundamentals to back it up. Because a lot of people, right, were forecasting the other direction. They're expecting for USD to weaken, right? A lot of Aussie dollar, Euro dollar, everything else to kind of take off, right? But we managed to call the reversal on DXY very, very well. Okay. Now, UK, right? Just like most other developed economies, right, inflation in the UK is retreating sharply as CPI for the month of June came in at 7.9%, kind of lower than the estimate in the previous month's readings. Core CPI readings edged lower, right? So, it kind of takes some pressure off the BOE on raising interest rates at the next policy meeting, right? But important thing to take note is that EU inflation showed June CPI, falling from 6.1% to 5.5% year on year. But actually the core reading increased from 5.3 to 5.5%, right? So it's a little bit of a conflicting view there. Although headline CPI is falling quite sharply, right, the surprise increase in the core print is likely to push the ECB towards another rate hike. So if you're expecting if you're expecting the rate hikes to stop in the UK, right, rather by the ECB, unlikely going to happen. Okay, it's probably going to see another rate hike. Last one on what happened last week. All right, the employment claims in the US continue to trend lower for the second consecutive week. Figures also came in lower than estimate, which signals a robust kind of good labor market, right? Take note that although inflation is falling in the US, right, the core reading is also trending lower, right? The strong labor market means that the Fed is likely to continue hiking, right? Because it kind of means that they can continue hiking, right? One of the side effects whenever do rate hikes is that one of the side effects whenever do rate hikes is that people tend to lose their jobs. Just like the big tech layoffs, right? The cost of borrowing is a lot higher, but because there's a strong labor market, right? You can say that, all right, I got a little bit of leeway. I can actually continue to hike rates a little bit more. Weaker than expected unemployment claims were part of the reason for the US dollar to end the week with a strong finish. Okay. Now, this week, I summarized everything into one page for you guys. You got a blockbuster calendar. Got kind of three major central banks will be releasing their monetary policy statements. Okay, first thing, the Fed will kick it off when they conclude their FOMC meeting on 26 July. So this is this coming Wednesday. They are widely expected to raise interest rates by 25 basis points. Bring it up to 5.5%. Okay, now This is kind of, despite the recent CPI and PPI data, kind of showing strong deflationary trends in the US, right? Then on 27th of July, Thursday, we got ECB expected to also raise it by 25 basis points from 4 to 4.25%. And of course, lastly, we got Bank of Japan, kind of expected to maintain their ultra dovish monetary policy stance, kind of keep interest rate down at negative 0.1%. So this will take place on Friday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday got US, Thursday got ECB, Friday we got Japan. Okay, after this, after all of them, just remember to keep a lookout on the monetary policy statement, because it kind of gives them a better gauge on how they intend to handle the future policy actions. Okay, other things to take note of, right? We got the flash composite PMI readings on Monday, and Aussie inflation data on Wednesday, right? So just important things to take note of this week. I always point people to Forex Factory to check it out. This is a place where you want to check it out. Okay. But yeah, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we got big news events coming up. Okay, you can see the interest rate decisions depending on how you set the time zones, right? But yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, ECB press conference. Friday, we got the BOJ monetary policy statement, right? So a lot of big news events coming up this week. Definitely going to be a big week. Now let's make sure we get it right. Okay, let's make sure we get it right, especially on the technicals. Okay, so now let's dive into our technicals. Okay, let's dive into the technicals. Yes, guys, if you don't mind, please help me smash the like button, right? YouTube algorithm really loves it, right? Helps our video be discovered better. Okay, so here we go. Analysis from last week. Let's see how I'll be skipping Bitcoin and Ethereum because there hasn't been much movement. I highlighted the support and resistance levels there. Maybe I just need to maximize this. I highlighted the support and resistance levels there. It continues to hover between. We are waiting for a break on first support to trigger the move down. So not much change there yet. Okay, test. Nice to see you. Yeah, everyone's is working. All right. Yeah, Nick, thank you very much too. All right. Right. Oh yes, you mean over here, right? News events, correct. Yeah, so not much change on Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? So I won't be covering them so that I have more time to cover the other stuff. Okay. Now we are going to look at DXY. So DXY last week we forecasted a bounce, right? We forecasted a bounce above the 98, 99 level. Nice to see you too. Right. Let me know what's your real name. Right. Test. But thanks for tuning in. Right. So we forecasted a bounce above 98.99. It just touched that level and it rose very nicely to reach our first resistance. So if you got in on this trade, congratulations. Should have made a good amount of money. Okay. Calling this bounce right as it is. Why were we able to call this bounce? Was because was because of this 100% Fibonacci projection, which is what I always tell you guys, right? You guys need to learn your Fibonacci projections, starting point, middle point, ending point. So the distance from here to here is the same as the distance from here to here. Notice how price touched that level and bounced very nicely, right? So that is how you do a Fibonacci projection. And this is why we forecasted a buying area around here for price to bounce up. Oh, Ibrahim, nice to see you tune in. Thank you. All right, so it rose all the way to this first resistance, and I kind of forecasted that price would then reverse from here. Let us just do a double check on it. Yeah, so hopefully you guys made some good money on this trade. Very, very happy about this one. Hmm. Let me just take out the key levels, right? Okay. So in terms of what might happen, right? So this could be a one, Elliott wave structure 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4, and a wave 5 down. Either that, or if this is a way forward, then this is a one. No, no, no. This would have to be the way forwarding. Corrective ABC, and then we are, and that actually means if I'm looking at it that way, we could be seeing something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We should be seeing it drop lower. The only risk that I'm thinking of over here is that price might not reverse from here right away, right? I have a feeling it might reverse from here instead. That is the one problem that I'm thinking. You either reverse from here or it will reverse from here. We need to play our cards right. Mm. Yeah, that's right, Solomon. It's a ABCD pattern, right? For Fibonacci. I'm thinking 30 and 61%. Yeah, 30 and 61% over there. Huh. Okay, so how we're going to fine tune? So whenever I'm caught in moments like this, right? What I then do is I will look at the other instruments, the correlated instruments, right? I've taught you guys before how correlation is very useful for helping you avoid false breakouts, right? But a lot of it is using correlation correctly, right? It's about using correlations to see whether things are lining up nicely. Because if we're expecting a drop on DXY right now, that means on euro dollar we should be expecting a bounce. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so euro dollar, same thing. Last week, euro dollar, we will come back to DXY in a second, right? Euro dollar, it was rising very strongly. We caught the reversal on euro dollar right from 1253 to drop down, right? So it has since dropped down, touched this level very nicely and dropped down. So good money for everyone. Okay, it did not drop as low as we had expected it to. In fact, it dropped to this support level over here. Okay, how did we manage to call this reversal? Is because Fibonacci, same thing, right? 100% Fibonacci projection, starting point here, middle point here, and your ending point here. So you project this distance from here to here, right? You project it to here, and you get the 100% Fibonacci projection. Along at the same time, you got a 61.8 retracement, right? You can see another 61.8 retracement, starting point here and ending point there. Okay, so good call, man. It's a good, sorry, it's a bit of self-praise, me saying it's a good call, but yeah, it's a good call. Calling the reversal, and everyone was saying that there was going to be a bounce. No, it was going to continue to rally. So we got a nice bit of reversal here now. I suspect it might be a 38% and a 61%. Exactly the same. Oh man, oh man. Okay, we might actually see a bounce. Same view. Same view in euro dollar and dollar. Potentially we could be seeing a bounce from here. A bit risky. We could potentially be seeing a bounce on euro dollar. Just let me filter it with a view on pound dollar, okay? I need to see whether are we really expecting USD weakness this week. Okay, pound dollar worked out nicely too. We are calling for a reversal on pound dollar last week. I think it was over here, right? As you can see, the call was for it to drop below 1.32 level. It did not exactly reach the level as nicely as the others, right? But it did drop nicely, right? It did drop very nicely all the way down to a support level over here. Okay, so good amount of profit for everyone. Same thing, 100% Fibonacci projection. Maybe I should have picked the 100% a little bit more, yeah, accurately. 100%, 78.6 retracement, and very strong overlap. I found the overlap by going to the weekly time frame and actually looking for this very, very strong overlap. For those of you guys who wonder how I find overlaps, right, I actually look for levels where, you know, a horizontal level cuts across everything, and what you are left with are mostly the wicks, as you can see over here, right? You got mostly the wicks, the wicks, the wicks, and the wicks over here, right? So I'm just looking for this to establish strong overlap levels. Okay. Um, Video going fuzzy. It's not receiving. Yeah, it's okay. On my part, it says stream is going. I'm going to do a quick refresh. Just let me check. Hmm. Um, can everyone check a video check, right? Video check. Oh, okay. The video is lagging for a couple of guys. All right. My Wi-Fi signal is good though. Just checking, is everyone else able to hear me? Let me swap the internet. All right. Oh man, it's a little bit worried. Let me swap the internet. Just give me a second. I might lose connection for a while. Okay, just checking if everyone is hey Yami, nice to see you tune in. Are you guys able to see me better now? Is the video still lagging for you guys? I think, yeah, is it still lagging? I'm going to change my internet service provider, I think. At this rate. It's freaking terrible, man. Yeah, but it's weird because okay, let's try and see how it turns out. Okay. The moment you notice that it's lagging a bit, just let me know. I will just a um okay, it's better. Okay, yeah. If the moment you see that is lagging, let me know. I'll just do a quick reboot. Okay. Now, yeah. So pound dollar worked out very, very nicely, right? So we called for a reversal, right? It dropped very nicely into our first support level over here. The key thing that we need to decide, all right? The key thing that we need to decide is whether we might be seeing a bounce from here now. Okay. Um, ascending support line, right? Yeah, if ascending support line, right? Okay, audio and video good. That's the most important thing. All right, that's the most important thing. All right, so yeah, ascending support line lining up. Okay, we got a good bit of momentum over there. I don't like to place too much emphasis on the ascending support line, but man, it looks like we might be seeing a nice support level there, right? A lot of the setups that we're looking at this week, right? It looks like, we have one followed by another support, right? This one you can see we got one support followed by another support nearby. This one we got one resistance followed by another resistance nearby. Okay, so things are really, really lining up quite nicely for a USD weakness. Okay, for USD weakness. Yeah, things are really lining up pretty nicely for that. Okay. Let me know if you are still encounter any more lagging, right? I have an idea. I think it could be OBS that has been lagging a bit. It says encoding overloaded, right, or something like that. Okay. Good that is working properly. All right, good that's working properly. Right, I'm going to do a yeah. Okay, the moment if the stream health drops a bit, just let me know. Right, I think I will need to close and open OBS. Okay, now the so yeah, pound dollar, we should be expecting a bounce on pound dollar. Um, let me see. Ah man, okay, it's lagging. Just give me a second. I'm going to close and open OBS again. 1 second. Okay, guys, I am back. Are you guys able to hear me clearly? Okay, I had to reboot OBS, right? But I think it's a lot better now. It says the stream health is excellent, so that should solve the problem. Okay, yeah, so hopefully that will solve the problem. Okay, now let's work on dollar franc. Um, Okay, so we have a couple of things lining up that says that we should be seeing a fair bit of USD weakness. Okay, firstly, DXY is on first resistance, right? It looks like a very, very nice level. It's a pullback resistance level. Okay, we can see that price previously bounced once from there, right? It bounced a second time, right? And looks like it might be breaking out of that level, making a pullback, right? So we could be seeing a level potentially reverse from here. Okay, now what's going to happen next is that dollar franc, all right, dollar franc is not really giving us too good an idea on what's going to happen, right? The danger for dollar franc is that there's the first resistance level is fairly far away over here, right? The first resistance level is fairly far away over here, so it does look like price needs to kind of rise a little bit more to test this first resistance before reversing. So dollar franc is not singing from the same hymn book, right, so to speak, as everyone else. Okay, that's the one thing I'm a little bit worried about for dollar franc. But we did manage to forecast that it will do a bounce above the first support level. It's not the best setup for the week compared to the other instruments like euro dollar, pound dollar, and DXY, but it still managed to do a nice little bounce. Okay, so dollar franc is not singing from the same hymn book, but I think one that would likely give us a better idea is dollar yen. Okay, am I lagging again? All right, just check. Am I lagging again for you guys? Okay. I will continue, and if you notice I'm lagging, just let me know. All right. So we're down to dollar yen. So dollar yen last week, right? Dollar yen last week we actually forecasted a bounce on dollar yen above the 50.48 level. No, I mean the 137.98 level, right? You can see very, very nice support level, right? We forecasted a bounce to rise all the way to the 142 level, all right? So what has happened since is that price did bounce very nicely, right? Oh my God, it's lagging again, all right? Hey guys, are you able to hear me now? Let me know if you guys are able to hear me, okay? Okay, all right. Hopefully this fix works, right? It's the first time that it's happening though, right? Previously we never encountered this, right? But okay, hopefully this time is good. Okay, now let's begin. Dollar yen last week, right? Dollar yen last week we forecasted a bounce above 137, right, to rise up towards the 141 level, right? Hey Pav, I received your message on Telegram. Thanks for sending it through. Right, I'll go check it out. I just haven't had the time to reply to it yet. Okay. But yeah, so we forecasted for the bounce. The bounce happened, right? If you had taken this trade, you should be in really good money. I took the trade on dollar yen myself. Kind of closed out slightly earlier than I had wished that I would, right? But yeah, good money over here. Now the problem dollar yen is that it is not telling me anything, right? It's not telling me where the first resistance might be. We got a call right on dollar yen. I suspect there might be some form of resistance around here. There might be some form of resistance around here, right? So if there is that little bit of resistance, we might just see a little bit of a reversal on dollar yen. Not sure how much lower it would reverse, but there's a fair bit of resistance here, right? Pretty nice overlap resistance, right? And I think it's also a recent 61.8 retracement level, right? Just about there, 61.8. Okay, so yeah, I'll check pound yen in a bit. So yeah, I'm trying to line things up together. What I'm seeing is that we could be seeing that little bit of DXY weakness, I think. We could be seeing DXY weakness for a drop, because that means that euro dollar we should be seeing a bounce, pound dollar we should be seeing a bounce, yen we should be seeing a drop, and dollar franc we should be technically seeing a drop. But I will kind of be a little bit cautious about dollar franc, because I can't really tell what's going to happen for dollar franc right now. Okay. Quick look at Kiwi dollar, right? Last week we forecasted Kiwi dollar to reverse, as you can see, right? I was teaching you guys the concept of using the hidden RSI level, right? So we identified that each time RSI touched this key level, right, it actually made a reversal. So we're forecasting for the reversal on Kiwi dollar, right? It did reverse very nicely, right? And the key RSI level was 70.79%, right? So you can see this is how you use RSI, the hidden RSI level, to find the key where reversals might happen. If you got in on this Kiwi dollar trade too, good money for you. Congratulations. Send me sake. Yeah, Japanese sake maybe, right? It doesn't need to be whiskey this time. Yeah, but it's a good call, right? Made a good amount of money for this. Now, what might happen? What might happen this week for Kiwi dollar? A little bit in the middle of nowhere though. I want to highlight this support level. It's not the greatest. Um, But Kiwi dollars movement is not that nice. Yeah, Kiwi dollars movement is not that nice. Ah man. It's not really giving me reasons to really expect a bounce from there. Nice bit of support, right? A price might just drop down, touch this level and bounce up, but I can't really um put my finger on it, right? That we could see it's a bit tough. Yeah, can't really call a Kiwi dollar. Aussie dollar, nice drop as forecasted. At the same time, and these instruments are proving to be a little bit difficult. Okay, but I would highlight this as one of the key support levels, right? This as another of the key support levels, drawing all the way across over here. Okay, so this would be the second support. That'll be the first support, and it kind of lines up with our view that we might be seeing a little bit of a USD weakness. Okay, I do think we might be seeing that little bit of USD weakness, right? As you can see over here, potentially a bounce above this level. Not that confident. If you can choose something else to trade, if you can choose something else to trade, don't trade Aussie or Kiwi dollar. Okay. Good question from JJ, right? This is a weekly trade. Most of my trades I hold for the week. Because for the daily time frame and even the H4 time frame, right? If you're holding a trade for, if your analysis is on the D1 time frame, you tend to hold it for at least 5 or 6 bars. So that's 1 week, right? If your analysis is on the H4, you tend to hold it for a couple of days, maybe 1 or 2 days. How I determine stop loss is I always have a rule that your stop loss is beyond, take profit before, right? So in this case, right, if I were looking at analysis over here, my stop loss will be slightly beyond the first resistance, right? My stop loss will be slightly beyond. Contrary to popular belief, my stop loss is actually not at the second resistance over here. My stop loss is usually actually just slightly higher. Okay, and it's the same thing when you look at stuff like euro dollar. My stop loss for this setup was not right about over here. I might have my own exact stop loss level that I use. Let me see if I can find it. I might have it somewhere here. I'm just afraid that opening more windows causes my my thing to lag a bit. But I will show you what the exact stop loss levels, okay? But in a bit. Now let's go to pound yen first. I know there's a big request of pound yen. Pound yen, I think last week we forecasted that this was a big reversal. Price is coming back to that level. I think last week we forecasted the reversal from here, right? So yeah, it went down, it bounced up again, it's right about over here. It continues to kind of test the key resistance level area. Let me see. Um, Pound yen's a little bit tricky. Let me see if I have the exact trade I took for a couple of these euro dollars. Okay. Yeah, I do have it here. Yeah, so this was a trade on euro dollar I took, right? Entry was a little bit early, stop loss, take profit, right? Close call, I think I closed out slightly earlier, right? The stop loss that I had on euro dollar is 1.1309. Okay, so in this case, my stop loss would have been just about 1309 over here. Okay, so if you're looking at the whole thing over here, most people might think that my stop loss is all the way at the second resistance. My stop loss are actually just over here only, right? Very, very tight stop loss. Even for my dollar yen trade last week, right? My stop loss was at the 136.11 level, as you can see over there. Let me see if I posted a chart on on dollar. No, I didn't post a chart yet, but yeah, the my close it off for a fair bit of profit. Stop loss at 136.11. Where in the world is 136.11? Right? If you look at it over here, my stop loss was here at this level over here, literally 136.11, about over here, slightly about over here. So I don't place it too far away. The reason why I put it at 136.11 is to give it that little bit of breathing space, right? I was worried that price would spike down. True enough, price did spike down, and you notice that you can't just put your stop loss right below your entry. You need to give it a little bit of breathing space. I found a whole bunch of Fibonacci confluence over here, so I put my stop loss just slightly lower, right? Not so far away, right? Because there's no reason for me to say that price is really going to go all the way down here. If price breaks through all of this and comes down to here, I know I'm wrong. I don't need price to come I don't need price to come all the way down to here to tell me I'm wrong. Okay, even at this level, I would already know I'm wrong. So when you place a stop loss, right, you need to ask yourself, why am I placing it so far? Is there a reason why I'm placing it so far? And if there's a reason, then that's great. If there's no reason, then you're just buying yourself comfort. Okay. Now remember that your risk to reward affects your trade. So imagine I caught this bounce on dollar yen quite nicely. Okay, I'm going to show you if I had a long position. If I had a long position, take note my risk to reward over here is 1. Okay, my risk to reward is 1. My risk to reward is 1. So my take profit is over here, right? So if I had kept my stop loss at this second support level, notice my risk to reward is 1.29. But I was able to tighten my stop loss to over here. And the market rewards you for having a tighter stop loss, right? So we should be able, in this case, 2.64, right? So, if you can tighten your stop loss even more, yeah, your risk to reward can increase exponentially to 5.67, right? So the market rewards you for a tighter stop loss. In this case, I managed to tighten it to here to give me a pretty good risk to reward, 2.68. Okay. Pound yen. Yes, pound yen. Questions is that, yeah, broke structure, liquidity pool, it might reverse. Let me see. Pound yen is basically what you expect on pound dollar and dollar yen. Okay, if you're expecting pound dollar to rise and you're expecting yen to drop, that means you're expecting yen strength and you're expecting pound weakness, which means that pound yen is likely to see a drop. If things go nicely according to what we forecast, right? When you're trading crosses, a lot of time when you're trading crosses is actually taking, like, in this case, right? We got GBPUSD, GBPUSD over USDJPY. Okay, so what we essentially did was that we cancel out the USD on both part, and that's how you find GBPJPY. All right, we're expecting pound to strengthen against the USD. We're expecting yen to strengthen against that, right? So that means if yeah, correct, in this case. So actually pound strengthens and yen strengthens, right? We might not see pound yen drop actually. Sorry, let me correct myself. It might be a stalemate. It might be a stalemate, right? Because if pound strengthens and yen strengthens, okay, are you guys able to see and hear me nicely? Better right now. Sound check, video check. Is everyone able to hear me? I'm alive again. Okay. Good stuff. All right. So sorry about the streaming this time round. All right. It's a little bit weird. Yeah. Okay. We got another few minutes anyway, so almost towards the end of our session. Pound yen, right? I noticed that there's a nice 100% projection right here, right? And price did react off it already. So there's a good, decent chance that we might actually see a little bit of weakness, right? But hard to say pound yen. It's at the overlap, and my rule is that whenever price is at the overlap, right, we naturally, right, especially when it react off the 100% projection like that, we try to look for a reversal. Not the best setup for the week, right? My reminder to everyone is that there's plenty of opportunities to make money. You don't necessarily need to force yourself to trade a certain instrument if it's not giving you as nice a setup. Okay, now let's quickly power through gold. Right, so gold last week, I think we forecasted gold. We forecasted gold to rise up, test the first resistance, and drop down to first support. Right, what has happened since for gold is that it rose up, tested the first resistance, and is dropping down to the first support. Right, so if you got in on this, also pretty good money for you. Thank you. Thank you for the whiskey. Okay, I think my video is going to start lagging again. So I just end off this analysis that we should be able to see a drop on gold towards the first support level over here, right? And WTI, right, it's now bouncing off first support. We should ideally be able to see WTI make a nice big push towards this level, right? So very, very nice. This is now our first support on WTI, right? Resistance that has turned to support. My second support level will not be so far away. I'll probably be putting my second support over here. Okay, I'll check out a dollar franc in a bit. Okay, right. And hopefully we can see a nice rally. We can see a nice rally on WTI towards the 82.88 level, right? Dollar franc, like I mentioned, dollar franc is a little bit tricky. Last week I don't think we called yeah, last week we called for a bounce on dollar franc. It did make that small little bounce, but it hasn't reached our first resistance level yet, right? Dollar franc, I'll still be a little bit wary. I'll look to sell on strength. I'll wait for price to kind of rise up a bit to test this level before we play any move down to this level. Okay, so dollar franc, I'm still waiting for the first resistance. It's a little bit different from DXY where everyone's kind of all lining up very nicely, right? So we're expecting overall DXY weakness, right? Hopefully we see a reversal, and that would cause euro dollar to bounce, pound dollar to bounce, right? Dollar franc to maybe just rise a bit and drop. Dollar yen, right, should be able to drop too. Okay, so a lot of it is expecting USD weakness. A lot of it is banking on that. Okay, let's hope it works out quite nicely. I will not go through any of the other charts because we're lagging quite a bit. But yeah, I think we had quite a number of nice calls last week too. Okay, hope you guys managed to get in on the trades. Hope you guys managed to get in on the setups, right? Because I think last week was one of our better, not say better weeks. Our weeks have been very, very good recently, right? Not very recently, it's been very good for a long time. So yeah, hopefully, if you need help on trade management, let me know. I'll be glad to cover like stop loss placement. It's as important as entry and as important as your take profit. Stop loss placement and take profit placements are equally important. Okay, that's it for me, guys, right? Thanks for tuning in throughout this entire session, right? I'm so sorry for the little bit of lag that you've been experiencing here and there for OBS, right? I happen to be getting a new Mac soon, which a little bit more RAM, so hopefully it doesn't lag that much. And maybe I need to run a direct wire somehow for better internet connection, especially when I'm streaming this at 4 a.m. from at home, right? Maybe the internet hasn't woken up yet or something. Okay. Thank you very much, Leandro. Thank you, Kelvin. Help me smash the like button. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Right, of course, at 6 a.m. If you're from Sydney, right? Thank you, Path. Right, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you found today's session useful. Right, let's hope we are right for another week. Right, as usual, Path, I will check out your message pretty soon. Right, excited. You can see I got a big bang. I think it's the big band. I think I got a big band on my display picture. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Stay safe. Trade safe. Catch Keaton in 12 hours when he does the live market analysis, but more from a fundamental point of view. Okay. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Solomon. Right. It was great having you guys here. Right. Hope to catch you guys around a lot more. Maybe one day when we launch a live trading room. Right. I'll see you guys there a lot more often. Okay. Peace out. Trade safe, everyone. Bye bye.